Okay. Give you guys a couple minutes. Get in here. Get inside the room. Put a in here. Get inside the room. Put a one in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. I'm giving you a live update, but stand by and wait for you guys to get in here. All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're reporting live. Actually, I just left outside the courtroom where witness Jane Doe is on the stand right now, but I want to give you guys a live update as to what has happened from the start of this morning. First off, the judge takes the bench at 8:40 this morning. He goes into to do some housekeeping. He issues his ruling as it relates to two motions that were filed, one being the motion for a mistrial. He denied it. Defense wasn't happy about the denial. The defense wanted to be heard on why they believe that the judge shouldn't deny the motion. They go into some very interesting arguments as it relates to the judge's ruling. And the defense basically said, Judge, I think you're wrong about this. I think you're wrong about this because there was enough information out there that would show that we did not know what the prosecution was going to, what the witness was going to stay on the stand. But more importantly, when the prosecution delivered the discovery, this information wasn't available to us. So the defense is asking the judge, even though he denied the motion, to give an instruction to the jurors to say the witness, Bongolan, or I call her the balcony girl, perjured herself. So will the judge give the instructions to the jurors to show that this witness perjured herself? We don't know that yet. Talking about the jurors. The prosecution wants one juror, juror number 6, to be struck from the panel. Don't know what happened with juror number 6. That's under seal, but that was another argument or issue raised this morning. They want this juror number 6, to be stricken from the panel. Why is that? We don't know. Hopefully we'll find out at some point. But it's under seal. So it may be we don't know. But the defense is fighting against it. They want the juror to stay. The prosecution doesn't. So something must have happened. Something must have happened. And, you know, when I see stuff like this, when the defense doesn't want something and the prosecution wants it as it relates to a juror, there may be some information this juror might have been talking, may leak. We don't know. I don't want to speculate. But this is very important because we don't want to lose any jurors in a case like this. Right now in the courtroom, before we go into the witness testimony, this is a packed courtroom. When I say packed courtroom, every seat in the house is taken. Diddy has the support of not only his family, some recognizable faces that's shown up that hasn't shown up. One in particular is Mark Garricos. He wants to be in the court to watch the cross-examination by his daughter, Teeny Garricos. When I tell you, every row from the family of Sean Diddy Combs is filled. All the media are filled. It's a packed house. People are lined across against the wall. I knew that once the cross-examination would start, more people would show up. It even got real serious for me this morning. I never paid for a line in the front of this line sitter this morning. I paid for a line sitter. I had number 1 seat, the number 1 spot in the line because I made sure I paid for that line. But I'm going to tell you something happened. They're going to tell you online, your boy fell. Your boy, when they called up him to come up to get in, to go to the front of the door, he dropped his laptop. Yes, I dropped my laptop, ladies and gentlemen. I dropped my Apple. Listen, my Apple laptop is damaged. My screen is damaged. We got to buy another one. So with that said, make sure you please support this platform. I done lost almost a $3,000 laptop this morning, but I'm here for you guys. I ain't begging, but I'm telling you, I didn't expect to be losing a laptop this morning. I'm here to bring you the news, gavel to gavel, and let's go into the testimony. Let's go. The judge is saying, so what the judge's reasoning for denying the mistrial motion was that the defense failed to put the court on notice early regarding the conflict with the Cassie's account of what happened. So the judge is saying that because they had a discovery, the prosecution gave the defense a discovery, or they didn't put the Cassie on notice by way of her testimony. They kind of forfeited that. And the defense said, well, we didn't know what she was going to testify to. But it's obvious that Cassie said that she heard it early on through her statements that were made, but then when she gets on the stand, she's saying that she witnessed this. So the defense is fighting hard to get the judge to reverse his decision. That's not going to happen, I don't believe. The judge, it almost appeared that the judge was arguing for the prosecution and coming up with reasons why the prosecution didn't do that. Ms. Shapiro, who's arguing the motion for the defense, said, "Oh wait, not so fast, Judge." She didn't say you the seven prosecution on. What she said was, well, obviously, based on your analogy, the prosecution is going to adopt this analogy because they never made it. And when the judge asked the prosecutor to respond to what the defense has argued, she didn't give her a real answer. And I think because she didn't give a real solid answer, the judge is entertaining whether or not to issue an instruction, a curative instruction to the jurors. His ruling as far as a mistrial is not happening, but I think that the judge will. He asked Ms. Shapiro to write up a proposed order. When I hear that, the judge is entertaining it. Write up a proposed order. So what should he tell these jurors? Did the balcony girl lie, or did the balcony girl lie? Here's the other problem I have. When the judge was going back and forth with Ms. Shapiro, he kind of provided an alternate reality for why this witness might have said what she said. She said, well, what she said this happened over 10 years ago, and we know she was on a lot of drugs, but Your Honor, she gave a specific statement as to when she took the picture of her leg when it happened. She said it was in the morning time. She even gave it if she's on drugs, how did she know it was in the morning time? And she knew that it was in a particular specific day. So if it's a specific day, the metadata supports that the picture was taken on that day, but Mr. Combs wasn't in town. And I think the judge is going to entertain the curative instruction request by the defense. While right now standing is a mistrial denial, but all is not lost with the defense. Let's go into some of the testimony. Before we get into that, hold on. Let's see here. The judge has also denied the government's motion to recall the psychologist Don Hughes. Judge said no, that's not happening. So the defense lost one, the government lost one. Because if the government was able to get Dr. Hughes to come back and rehabilitate some of the witnesses that provided testimony, because there were certain witnesses that started talking about their therapist, and there was testimony by Jane Doe early on that the average person couldn't explain why she did certain things. Well, the prosecution wanted the defense to come in, wanted Dr. Hughes to come in and talk about the reasoning and rationale why things are happening. The judge honed in on the fact that maybe Puff love bombed Jane Doe, but the doctor did not talk about love bombing as one of the reasons why witnesses or accusers or victims testified the way they testified. So that's why the judge denied the prosecution motion to recall Don Hughes, the psychologist. Let's go. Oh, who else is in there? And guys, I'm talking fast, but I had to get back in the courtroom. I literally left out to give you guys an update. I had to get back to that courtroom in 5 minutes, so let's see if we can wrap this up. Make sure you are liking, subscribing, supporting the platform. And when I tell you, baby, my laptop is gone. My laptop is gone, ladies and gentlemen. But I have a tablet, but I still need a laptop. So make sure you're supporting the platform. If you want these live updates, make sure you're supporting the platform. Just don't come here just walking up in here and just looking and getting information and running back into doing a recap. Support the platform, or I won't be coming back out. Anyway, let's go. Oh, here's a funny part in this morning. When the judge was saying why he denied the mistrial motion, this is where you got an outburst in the court of laughter. He said, yes, Nicole Westmoreland had a Perry Mason moment in the federal court. While she had a Perry Mason moment in federal court, if anyone knows who Perry Mason is, please Google Perry Mason. He's a fictitious attorney that was winning all cases back in the 70s, 80s, but he was a TV attorney, and she definitely had a Perry Perry Mason moment in the courtroom because she made sure the jurors knew that this witness who likely perjured herself, she brought it out. But for me, it felt like the judge was helping the prosecution too much. The prosecution should have argued why the balcony lady should have been believed, but the judge was helping a little too much for me. And Judge Aaron, let them listen. You got 6 ladies over here. They're lawyers. Let them argue that motion. You were helping them a little too much. You were giving them alley oops. The judge was giving the alley oop. I like you a lot, sir, because I think you're a fair judge, but you cannot help the prosecution. This is a seasoned team of lawyers on the prosecution, and this is the Southern District of New York. You can't be helping prosecutors. No one's helping the defense. The judge, sir, I haven't seen you help the defense. We're going to talk about that later. Maybe I can interview you later on. You're a young guy. Maybe I get an opportunity to interview before I retire. But, Judge, don't help the prosecutors. They knew what the argument was going to be this morning. Sir, please, we watching. Everyone's watching. And talk about watching the media. So listen up. This is going to be a problem for some content creators because the judge has not decided not to boot certain people out of the courtroom. Apparently, one of other people have released the information of witness Mia and also this Jane Doe's on the stand. Judge has not ruled on it, but he will be ruling on it, and he's going to take serious measures against those people who have done that. It wasn't me. I checked all my receipts. I never even slipped and said her name. So it wasn't me. I heard the chatter. It was a guy who's has a YouTube channel. Well, several guys who have YouTube channels in the courtroom, but it's not only a guy. They haven't said if it was a man or woman, but the judge is going to make a decision on that. I think that might happen tomorrow, but we'll see. They said the marshals have investigated and they have decided, or they have the evidence to support the kicking certain people out of the courtroom. Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you are liking, subscribing. Tell a friend. Let's get into the evidence. Let's get into the testimony. Here we go. Okay. So Jane Doe's on the stand. T.D. Gerikos is doing the cross-examination. One of the statements that we don't say her name, Miss Jane Doe, was asked, you were hooked on the love and affection of Mr. Combs, correct? Yes. Right now, you love Mr. Combs, correct? Yes. I love giving him foot massages, and Puffy likes to watch Dateline until they go to sleep. Interesting choice of movies to watch. And this is when Jane Doe's talking about the interaction with her and Puffy has. It doesn't seem like it's all work and business. It looks like Puff and her shared special moments watching special shows. You know, if you're in a relationship and you're really into, like, maybe me and my lady like to watch Netflix, or we may like to watch a comedy show. But Puffy loved watching Dateline until they fell asleep. I didn't think he was a Dateline type of guy, but hey, shout out to Dateline. Let's see what else we got here. She says, I love the affection and love making. I know I am. So when Miss Gerikos asks Jane, you're a sexy woman. You believe you're a sexy woman. She says, I know I am sexy. I know I am sexy. Okay, girl, we know you're sexy. We all been saying that you're sexy. But let's get into the evidence. Then Miss Gerikos says, you knew he liked baby oil, right? Yes, he likes baby oil, even in his regular life, right? So she's getting Jane Doe to say he just doesn't like baby oil for freak-offs. He likes baby oil for everything. I wonder if he put baby oil on his pancakes. He likes baby oil in his regular life. It's interesting, but it's not like something that's criminal. But Miss Gerikos was able to get the Jane Doe to say he likes baby oil for everything. He probably has baby oil on now. I don't know. He looks a little shiny. Okay, what else we got here? So Jane Doe testified that she started taking ecstasy when she was 35 years old. When she was 35 years old. She gave an example of a fantasy. She gave an example of a fantasy that she had. And the fantasy was about, listen to this, guys. It gets kind of strange because think about the testimony from yesterday. She had a fantasy about Puff's out of town. She's home alone, and she has an escort, an entertainer, come to the house while Puff's not in the house. Why is that significant? She testified to this today. Why is that significant? Because yesterday there was testimony that came out that Puffy suspected that she was cheating on him with an escort. Think about that. That's breaking news. That is the breaking news of the morning. She testified. Now this is a prosecution witness, and she's being cross-examined by the defense. We know when we heard yesterday about what Puff and how they had this argument. Puff suspected that she was messing around with Anton because Anton he saw a message on her phone where they had a mutual friend, and Puff's like, "Who's your mutual friend?" Because in my mind, the only mutual friend you would have would be me. So it wasn't Puff. From testimony yesterday, it was someone else that she admitted that while she didn't have sex in this gathering that her and this mutual friend and Anton had, it was still a fantasy that she had. Isn't that kind of weird? You having a fantasy about a situation that Puff accused you about early on. That's kind of weird. Kind of weird, very suspect. But she admitted this on the stand. How's that going to help the defense? We'll see. Let's go. And Miss Teeny asked her, and you guys can figure out why this is important. Miss Teeny asked her, Teeny Gurgles asked her, what size heels do you typically wear? She said 3 or 4, but you've worn size heels 4 to 6. Ladies, you guys wear heels. Is it normal to wear heels size 4 to 6 inches? So, because she's testifying that at times the fantasy was that she wear size 4 to 6 heels. Well, she's short. Maybe Puff would like them tall. I don't know. Well, actually, I do know because Cassie also wore tall heels as well. Whenever I used to see Cassie on the red carpet, she had heels on. But when you see her in the court, she's coming in with low flat shoes. She looks short. She's about 5'3", 5'4". But Puff likes women with high heels. We know Kim Porter was a supermodel, and she was tall. Kim Porter was about 5'10". So Puff has a type. Puff has a type, ladies and gentlemen, which I thought was interesting that they were talking about these 4 to 6 hills. Why are they talking about 4 to 6 hills? Why are they talking about 4 to 6 hills? Is because when the warrant was executed on Puff's house, there were lingerie and high heels in the closet. So likely that was probably Jane Doe's. Let's go to the next one. Okay, here it goes. It gets funky now, ladies and gentlemen. It is getting funky now. It's getting funky because now we're talking about finances. We're talking about finances. Miss Teeny Gurgles was able to ask the question to Jane Doe that you initially lived on the East Coast, right? She said yes. So why did you leave from the East Coast to the West Coast? Well, she says the East Coast wasn't providing her. Let me give you her exact quote. Hold on, guys. I had a lot of pages here. Stand by. Well, the East Coast wasn't giving her what she wanted. She wasn't giving. She was on a $4,000 a month budget from her baby daddy, giving her on $4,000 a month. Think about this. I'm not going to listen. I'm not shading you, sir. I'm not going to mention your name in this chat, but you were only giving your baby mama $4,000 a month, and Puff was giving her $10,000. So I think she's up. The baby daddy was only giving her $4,000 a month in child support, but Puff was giving her $10,000 a month. Why is that important? Well, she went for the higher earner, and she also testified that she typically looks for people, wealthy men. The defense was able to get her to say she typically date only wealthy men. But your baby daddy's a wealthy man. I'm not saying this thing, but I'm just saying you was getting the short end of the stick with your baby daddy. Listen. Anyway, I like the magic stick. Okay, here we go, guys. Hold on. Then it got kind of interesting when she said that she regretted living the lifestyle. At what point did she regret living the lifestyle? At what point? At what point did she regret living the lifestyle? And Miss Teeny was able to get her to say, yeah, you knew he was under. She said you knew he was under investigation in March of 2024, right? She said yes. What else she says? She says, let's see. I regret him leading me into the lifestyle. She says she regret Puff leading her into the lifestyle. She regret Puff leading her into the lifestyle. Then Miss Gregory said, you didn't want to break up with him, right? She said, no, I don't. No, I didn't. But you say you regret him leading you into the lifestyle, but you don't want to break up with him. Make it make sense. Either you regret him leading you into the lifestyle, but or you break up with him. She gave us. You had a choice. That's what Miss Gericos was getting her to say. Next page, guys. Hold on. You were hooked on the love and affection of Mr. Combs, right? Yes. Right now, you love him. Yes. Okay, we talked about she loved giving the massages and so forth. Here goes another bombshell was dropped. So you had two businesses before you met Mr. Combs, right? She said yes. And did Puff help you? Did Puff invest in your business? She says yes. So what kind of business did you have? I had, I was a content creator and I had a clothing line. Okay, so did Mr. Combs invest in your business? Yes. How much? He invested $20,000. Breaking news. So Sean Combs, who owned Sean John, the clothing line, invested in his girl's clothing business and gave her advice about her clothing business. Newsflash, she still has the clothing business that that Puffy invested in, and she still has the clothing line right now. So we learned today that he's not just paying for your attorney. He's not just giving you $10,000 a month. You're not just getting $4,000 from your baby daddy, but you also receive $20,000 to invest in for him to invest in your clothing line. So this is more than just a $10,000 fetish that he pays towards his fetish. He's supporting you. He's supporting your business. You're getting money on the side. There's a lot of things that we didn't know in direct examination. We're now learning right now. So it wasn't just a twin. And he also gave you money to fix those daggone doors that he kicked in like Bruce Lee. But he gave you the money to fix the doors, and you didn't even pay for that. What the heck are you doing with all the money? He's giving you money all over the place, and you're not even fixing the doors that he broke. Kind of looks kind of strange here. Let's go. So, Ms. Gericos, make sure the ladies and gentlemen, the jury know that you were getting child support. You were living on the East Coast. You had a certain lifestyle on the East Coast. And what we learned today is, stand by, guys. What we learned today is that when she lived on the East Coast, she had, and listen, the East Coast, I ain't going to tell you where she lived on the East Coast, but I'll just say she lived in the East Coast, and she only had a $4,000 budget. $4,000 child support, and I'm assuming she was making money as a content creator. But once she went to the West Coast, her lifestyle changed tremendously. Tremendously, ladies and gentlemen. Tremendously. And this is why this cross-examination is so effective. It not only paints Puff not just as someone that would like freak off, but he took care of his woman. And she loved him. She said today she loved him now as she sits in the courtroom, and she was getting all the benefits of a girlfriend. So why are we here, ladies and gentlemen? Why are we here? Hold on, guys. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. All right, guys. I got to go back in. I just wanted to bring this out to you. This is a breaking news development in the case of Sean Diddy Coles. Jane Doe's on the stand, and they putting all her business out there. It was a moment in the cross-examination where Miss Teeny Gericos had corrected Miss Teeny on two different occasions. One when Miss Teeny talked about she had a child, and I think Miss Teeny had said something that was a little off cuff, and then she corrected herself. But ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys are enjoying the coverage. We are outside. We're going back in. It's raining. The reason why I'm sitting in my car right now is pouring down raining. So you're likely not going to see too many reporters coming out doing updates unless they have a tent outside. Well, I don't have a tent. I have a very, hold on a second, guys. I have a very animated umbrella that's blinking and everything, but that's for safety. Okay, guys. You guys, let's see. Let's see if there's any comments before I go inside. Let's see here. Teeny Geragos is doing the cross examination, and Mark Geragos is in the courtroom, her father, and we was in the bathroom just now before I walked out. I said, I know you're proud of her, right? He just said, yes, I am. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's exclusive coverage right there. We even talking in the bathroom. But, well, was he on the record? I guess you told him as a reporter, you always on the record. What are you saying, guys? What are you saying? How are they going to give me a choice? Yo, don't get me in trouble. I'm not saying anything, but listen, this is real talk, guys. Whoever left that super chat, I appreciate you. I really do. But a lot more you guys that got come in and do what you do. Come in and do what you do. If you don't do it, then that's on you. Did she get anything up and running in her own? Did she get anything up and running in her own? Yeah, those exotic dancers. Those entertainers. She got that. She got them up and running. No shade. She got Puff up and running. So what are you talking about? Oh, guys, don't get me started, please. Listen. I'm gonna be honest. Listen, what I'm seeing right here is, again, follow the freaking money. He's in jail. She needs to maintain that lifestyle. I hear all the, well, I didn't really want to do it. I didn't really want to do it. But you did it, and you had opportunities to leave. You had a lifestyle on the East Coast, but you decided to go on the West Coast, living well beyond your means. Are you gonna weaponize Diddy's money against him? Because that's what it seems like. Everyone's weaponized this guy's money against him. This guy had the money to pay. I'm not paying you $10,000 a month. I'm not that guy. You know, like, let's be honest here. Listen, guys, I'd love for you guys to comment and everything, but please do not dox this woman on my comment section. I don't want to have to block you. I'm saying it now for those who are coming in. Do not dox this woman. Do not say her. Don't say anything that can come back to me. Well, you can't. What you say can't come back to me. I'm telling you right now. Do not say that woman's name, or my mods are going to block you. And you're going to say, why am I blocked? It's because you probably said the name. Before you block the person, I want you to screenshot what they said, and you're going to send me a screenshot and show me what they said, mods, so I can know that the blocking was justified. Other than that, you guys are mature enough. You don't have to say people's name. You don't have to dox people. Listen, she's doing enough doxing of herself on this stand. You just got to get your behind to the courtroom so you can see how she's doxing herself. Boy, I tell you, she was very uncomfortable when they started talking about the baby daddy. Baby daddy. Everyone was looking in the courtroom like, what are you going to say about the baby daddy? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, guys, I gotta get back in the courtroom. I'm gonna walk you. You guys can walk with me till I get to the courtroom. Make sure you like, subscribe, share this on all social media platforms. This is your YouTube update.
how much time I've been outside the courtroom, which is about 30 minutes. Going back in. And I was number one on the line. Listen, I paid for that number one spot, guys, because I want to make sure you guys are getting the coverage from inside the courtroom. Number one, they couldn't believe I was number one on the line. I said, Ms. Byron, you ain't cutting the line today? No, I didn't cut the line. Come on. I might have cut it one time, but I didn't know any better. But I paid to be on the line. Guys, listen, hit me with some coffee, hit me with something. Come on, guys, come on. What is it? Come on, run the numbers up, guys. Hit the super chat. Put my Cash App in there, at Hip Hop Enquirer. Mods, put my Cash App in this. Type it in the comments section when I get offline. Put that Cash App in there. Let's go. Going back inside.
You gotta start all over.
Okay. All right, guys, I got to end this. I can't record in the building. Okay, they put my box over there. Where my box at? Hold on. Okay, my box is over there. Okay. Thank you. That's the Cash App. Hit the Cash App, ladies and gentlemen. I used to have a laptop. Okay, guys. Okay, going in. Guys, I'm ending this live. I'll see you in a minute. Appreciate y'all.